Support for this podcast comes from the patrons at patreon.com/FMLFPL. Okay! Welcome to FMLFPL Milan.
Miss Walsh.
How we doing on a fine Sunday evening?
How are we doing? You tell me. You tell me, baby.
Very therapist to just throw it right back in my face. Yeah, and how does that make you? How does that okay make you feel? A lot of goals.
Yeah,
I didn't have many, but there were a lot of goals.
Yeah.
A lot of points.
Yeah.
It's funny. I think the name of the last pod was like template crushing or something, and this week was the big template fuckfest.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's start with you because I just can't.
Okay.
I just can't. Start with
I got 65 after my -4, 69 to 65. I hit out Neto and Ward for Rodrigo and Ramsdale, so that was a net, negative whatever. But not having
negative
Neto
like
anymore.
2 or something.
Yeah, -3 I think it was, since
Yeah.
Ward obviously gets 1 point every game, is contractually obligated to do so. But not having Neto is an incredible feeling.
Even when he returns.
Irresistible. Even when he returns, he cheats and he doesn't return. He's just disaster, such a disaster. So, Rodrigo was absolutely nowhere near points, remotely close. They got completely fucking destroyed by Brighton. Sorry. Wow. Brighton.
Brighton, new team.
Dude, it's not good. But, it was still I still felt like good about my moves, even though they didn't pay off. Mocap. It is what it is. And then I got points from the players that everyone else had. So I just got another red arrow. Basically, I was I was spending too much time thinking about this today, but basically the reason why I'm 2 million rank right now and doing really badly, even though my team is very template and has been since game week 1, is that every player that I've had from players 8 to 11 have blanked every single game week.
Yeah, pretty much.
Literally every game week. The only thing I had was trips.
Yeah, that was me after I think game week 2 or something, and I was like, every player I have is fucking amazing, except the only non-template player I have is Dean, and he has 0 points in 2 game weeks.
No, but that's not true, because you were getting goalkeeper cleans, you were getting trips cleans.
But I had template guys, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The only non-template guys I had were, the ones blanking. And for you, it was all highly owned guys. It was Ward Iverson, it was Neto, whoever else it is, but they just didn't score points. Yeah.
Same thing with Robbo is just the Diaz, the second Diaz goal was really difficult to take, but the Robbo Diaz has been so many points lost to the field there.
Yeah.
And other than Haaland and Trent, basically I'm just fucking a joke.
Yeah, just looking at the elite teams ownership that I've been looking at regularly, it's 40% are on Bob Sanchez, 8-pointer, 38% are on Diaz still, 14-pointer, 26% on Perisic on 6, 17% on Grob, which I thought was surprisingly high. I guess people went Neto to Grob probably. But it's just all those edge points is really making a huge difference. On the elite was 71.6 this week average, which is over 10 more than overall or top 10K. So it's just this was the week where they all fucking flew.
Yeah, and it's obviously captains. People captain Haaland, and that's a huge thing today this week when everyone else. Kane got a few points today.
What did he finish on? 10, I think?
10, with his adventurous day.
It's funny that he got max bones. I was actually surprised.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just ridiculous. Missing chances versus shots on target. I don't get how they do any of the
pen
things.
And yellow.
Yeah, you would think he would at least be down to 1 or maybe 2. Or whatever. So, 65. Yeah, I mean, I went into today. I was like, all right, well, at least I'll get a green, and it's just that didn't happen. So,
yeah.
whatever. We go on to the midweek, I guess.
Go again. I'll just click mine.
I mean,
here.
I still think my team's fine. I mean, I'm thinking of saving this week. I don't know. I'm starting to play around with like wild carding though.
Yeah, I think that's starting to like enter the ether a little bit as. The template is very established, but there's like edge cases to make. So obviously I wildcarded, put up 47. So I went down, I don't know, 1.5 million or something like that. I feel like I got punished more than like even imaginable. Like I expected a Liverpool clean. Trent gets the third most points he's ever gotten in a game. Robbo gets 9. Diaz never even entered my thoughts to keep on Wildcard.
Nor should he have.
Yeah, nor should he have. He gets 2 shots. They're both headers, and he scores both. And I'm just like, oh my God. And everything. Kev blanks in a 4-goal game. It's just like everything that happened, Yeah,
Diaz is a bit of a tilter with the points he has the absolute insane stonker
against Palace.
And then he gets these 2 headers. I mean, broadly speaking, he's just really fortunate to have 27 points, on the season so far. I mean, he should be more in like the 14, 15 range. He probably should have like 1 return.
I mean, the link, I'm going off memory right now, but I think he had 1 really, really big chance, and it was against Man United, and De Gea saved it. Yeah. And every other point he's got is just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And obviously he's really good, and Liverpool scored 9 goals, but like, Jesus Christ, it's just everything that could go wrong went wrong. It's like people DMing me like after the Trent goal. I'm like, dude, he scores 1 goal a year. Like 2 goals, like he scored a 30-yard goal. Like what? I expected a clean. I can't expect 17 points. Like, what are we talking about here? But yeah, it was all very bad. So just gotta continue on, forge on, I guess.
Yeah, I mean the Trent thing, we talked about it a lot on the Thursday pod. You know what you're getting yourself into with that.
Absolutely.
And you just have to hope that over the course of the next 6 or 8 game weeks, when they do have a tougher run between 8 and 11, and maybe they don't keep 2 cleans in the next 3, and they maybe only have 1, and he doesn't score goals and shit in this upcoming run, you might be okay there. But it is just a matter of when, not if, you bring him back in. And that's the thing.
Yeah, I was always thinking after the bad fixtures would be when I bring him back in. That was the 12. Whole. I was never one of those people who's like, oh my God, Liverpool fucking suck this year. I was just like, no, they suck now. And then, the guys will come back and the team will get into gear and they'll be good and I'll bring them back in. But, like people who are like, I fucking told you. I'm like, dude, they scored the most goals in club history. Like, what the fuck are we even talking about? I expected them to win and clean, but like a 2-0. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then obviously the Mo blank, like what the fuck is
I really don't think it's even worth talking about, honestly.
Yeah, well, we got questions about it, so we'll go later. But let me update the leagues for now. So we got shout out to the 3 Prize League Mug League leaders for August so far. We got Village Idiot, aka Village United, Jeremy Beal, aka System of a Dean, which is really good, and Luke Gardner, aka Nice Colors Equals Points. Shout out to the leader of the FML Field Public League, Daniel Eberhard, aka Okay Mbumo. So good job by you guys.
Can we spend a little bit more time on your wild card, just where you ended up?
Just
talk about some of your thinking and your processing about the choices you decided on.
And I guess people listening didn't just see my team as I pulled it up, so I might as well just read it out. So I went Guaita, Iverson, sort of a 4-4-2 most weeks. So the 4 this week was Walker, Saliba, Reese, Trips, Gahey deep and buried on my bench, but he'll come in this week. The 4 mids are Martinelli, Kev, Rodrigo, and Mo, and Haaland and Jesus up top with Andreas and 4-5 forward on the bench. Yeah, I mean, a lot of it was like, we talked at length on the Thursday pod of like, what bets am I making against the field? And the two ones that I was obviously the most concerned about were Trent and Cancelo. And I ended up with neither. And I ended up with a threemium, and obviously Kev gets 2 points in a 4-goal game. It's like kind of weird. But and the threemium, you just have to make sacrifices somewhere. There's a world where I absolutely could have gotten Trent over Reece or Trent over maybe Walker, but it would have
or Rodrigo.
Yeah, or over Rodrigo, but it just would have meant like downgrading a lot of other guys that I liked a lot, right? It would have been like Saliba turns into Nico and Trips turns into Patterson, and my team is a lot worse. And a lot of what I was thinking is that like I think there's so many good defensive picks that are cheaper that are going to get in and around the points of the elite guys. Not the same amount of points, but worth it to put the money in attack, basically. And Kev, I was on Kane at first, moved to Kev, it is what it is. I don't really regret it that much, but it's like...
He looked fine. Like he was doing all the normal things against Palace.
I mean, they scored 4 goals. Like, that's like what I wanted. If you asked me, would you take this? City score 4 goals this weekend, I'd be like, absolutely, yes. Kev is going to get a double return. Yeah. But, a lot of the threemium wasn't that, like, I think long-term that's going to be the way to go. I don't think threemium's like ever really been good in FPL for like long periods of time, but it's more just I wanted the money out of like super, super expensive defenders and into my attack. And like 2 weeks from now, Kev might turn into like, Darwin and GW5 or, whatever, whoever it turns into. I can get anyone in the game because I can downgrade any of the premiums and get anyone. So that was like a lot of the why threemium. Keeping Reece was easy. Saliba was easy. I'm obviously really high on Trips, although I didn't know Guimaraes was out. Guaita and Gehi, I mean, one of the things I said on Thursday was just like after the City fixture, they just have amazing fixtures until the World Cup. So I think a lot of cleans will come there. Mitchell injury makes that a little worse. I feel like all the other picks are just kind of like chalk with the money that I had available.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And the Liverpool thing, I mean, it's like, we don't have to go too into detail, but the defense has been awful for like 4 months, not just these 3 games prior. And the attack looked really, really fucked up and bad with no midfield and Bob. And so I was thinking like, yeah, they'll probably clean Bournemouth, but part of the reason Trent is because Liverpool need to be scoring goals and he needs to be assisting them. And then like the future fixtures that are a little, Bournemouth's just like not even a team in this moment. Maybe when Dom comes back, they'll actually like score a goal all season. But, I looked at Newcastle, Everton, Wolves. In a normal Liverpool season, I'd be like, yeah, that's fucking 4 out of 4 cleans. But with the midfield, with the defense, how it is, I'm just like, those teams are really good at long balling and countering with pace. So I just like still don't really like it for cleans that much. And obviously I couldn't have expected 9 goals, but even Trent's points were like, again, a Diaz header, an own goal when Diaz was very clearly offsides. And I was actually shocked when that went to VAR and didn't get overturned, and a fucking banger from 30 yards. And it's like, he's a great player, but we have a bunch of Cancelo questions, but like Trent's numbers are really bad too for him. It's not just Cancelo. It's just the fact that he scored 17 points and Cancelo scored 1. So everyone's like, oh, should I get rid of Cancelo?
Yeah, but Trent's ICT index is 1.
Well,
so I don't know.
Let me take that all back.
I don't know what you're talking about. His numbers are bad.
Yeah, his numbers. One's literally good. 1 out of a million. So.
Out of 200x whatever. So check yourself.
But yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I got punished in the absolute worst imaginable way, but we'll see. After 7 weeks, I'm not gonna like take a -8 and get everyone in that I didn't get in my wildcard. That's just like not an option for me. So just gonna go with it, and hopefully Kev bangs and shit goes how I thought it would go.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Maybe let's just go to City, Cancelo, etc., because there's a lot of action there. So on the defense, Sunnet said, is Walker still worth the hold? Jitterbug said, is there further evidence that selling Cancelo to generate funds might be okay? Defense not looking perfect. Champions League rotation coming. NFO is a game for rotation. Maybe money could go far. And JP said on top of this, and basically just listed all of his numbers and his positioning and how it's worse than it normally is for Cancelo. I mean,
yeah.
What do you think?
I'm very worried about Cancelo at this point. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty like very high alarm panics, I think. Subs at 60. I don't think he ever got, I mean, we know we have 5 subs, but I don't think he ever got subbed last year when they were down. Like he's one of their creative hubs.
Right.
And yeah, his positioning, it just continues to be very bad. I mean, he's basically playing like where Walker used to play and where Walker kind of still does. I mean, he's just so withdrawn, and he does get forward like sometimes, it's not like never, but not remotely close to where he was last year. And it's still like watching him. And, we had the same experience last year, I think. Like, granted, he had 11 assists. He had a goal last year, right? There's 12 returns, a lot of returns. Yeah. His balls are fucking bad, like generally, I think. Like, they're not precise. I mean, he just like puts it in there and like you hope it was just sheer volume last year. Like the volume was out of fucking control last year. And, he needs that to be getting points. He's just not really there right now. And for 7 million, I mean, really what we're doing, because he's still going to be like, didn't play in that midweek cup game. Like, Pep still like wants him in the team every game.
Yeah, he's still like basically nailed as far as a City player can be nailed.
Yeah, he's definitely nailed. And, then it comes to the question of, he's fucking 7 million. Like, if he's not getting return, I mean, it was nice, game week 1, they don't return, he gets the yellow card, he's still a bat magnet, and they just did obviously come off of 2 really hard games where they didn't keep it clean. And look, we had an own goal and a corner kick goal. Like, we didn't come remotely close. We didn't come remotely close to their box the whole game. So, that also was just very fluky, and they were in air quotes back defensively against us. It was, I mean, we didn't have Wilf, we had no outlet. It was just a fucking joke. Yeah. But it's just, I think the more is his positioning where it is concerning. And
like, if you're not getting the attacking stuff, why are you paying 7 million? Yeah.
Why do you not have Walker? Why do you not have...
That's why I went Walker.
Yeah, why do you not have Stones? Like, why do you not have insert anybody else
And
there?
For the record, Cancelo got subbed off 1 time last year. His average minutes per start were 90.
Yeah, so, the thing with them is, right, home NFO, at Villa, Spurs, tough one, Wolves, Man United, Southampton. You're still looking at least 3 cleans in the next 6. Yeah. So, I think you have other issues to deal with. You can easily just keep, I mean, he's not. Yeah. He's still going to get
urgent
points,
transfer at all.
But it's like, for you on Wildcard, sitting there is like, yeah, it looks like Walker over Cancelo was and should probably be like the pick. Yeah. But we still don't have that much game time. I mean, we have 4 games, we'll see. They still have no players in defense. So Walker right now with Laporte and Ake out is that much more secure. Right. That kind of thing. And, we still expect them to keep clean. So, I mean, Cancelo it's not like he's injured or, they're suddenly like they're missing half their defense or whatever. He's still fine, but he's not definitely 7 million.
It is a weird thing. Like maybe a future like scouting video or something like that, just because just looking at like more than XGXA, it's like he's crossing the same amount. He's passing into the penalty area the same amount. He's completing more crosses into the box this season than last season. The problem is no one's shooting. like he's the pass before the pass. Yeah. He's getting no XA because no one's shooting. That's the entire way that it works. So it's almost like Haaland is just like that extra guy. The wingers aren't supposed to shoot anymore. They're supposed to pass it again and find Haaland, who's getting just all the shots. And it's like
he's not passing to Haaland.
And he's not passing to Haaland.
He's like pulling the link back
isn't him to Haaland.
Yeah. It's him to the guy to the guy.
Yes, exactly.
And it's definitely changed. Like that's like he's not checking coming in as much and getting those like shooting or those bending crosses to the far post. Like he's just not like doing that as much.
And he's not. I mean, I can't really remember if he was last year or not, but like on that Haaland 3rd goal where he just like piggybacked Ward into the goal and then scored, it was like where like Cancelo's not on those counters either.
No.
Like those are the moments where you'd be like, oh my God, whoever gets the ball gets a fucking assist here because they play a simple through ball to Haaland, but like he's nowhere near there.
Yeah.
So yeah. Not sure.
Yeah, but yeah, frustrating though. I mean, because he's really expensive, and he's tough couple games is getting 0-1 the last two, but home NFO is a good one. So
yeah, and I totally agree with you about the defense. I mean, it was just standard City dominant game,
very standard game.
Simulate that 10,000 times. They keep like a
9,999
cleans.
For sure. No, for sure.
More on just some City attackers. Nosferatu said last 2 game weeks City have had bad games, still managed to score 3 and 4 goals in comparison to last season. They kind of froze the game. Should we adjust already? Is Haaland enough? Or are you looking at another City attacker? Schmidt said, should we be targeting 3 City attackers if they're being this manic in games? And Johnny D said, what are your thoughts on the best City mid as a punt over the next couple of games? Foden's played a lot of mins. Gundo and Bill both getting some benchings. Is it still too risky? So I guess like people are thinking if you can nail a start home NFO, like that could be unlimited amount of goals. So
yeah,
like a upside play, I guess.
I mean, we were talking a little bit of Gundo and Foden. It's just, Foden he plays so much, it's hard. Yeah. He just kind of runs around with his like fucking chicken with his head cut off, I feel like a lot of the time. But
totally agree.
He has so much energy, and Pep just like I think values that so much in all of the areas of the pitch that he covers. I mean, he just plays a lot, and especially with Jack out, I know Alvarez like whatever, and Mahrez is just, he might be done. I don't know, but
big call.
Bill should probably be playing on the wing. Like it should just be him, Foden, Haaland up top. Gundo. But Gundo needs his minutes managed. He's old. They have 60 games, right? So, it's just more of the same. We don't know who's going to play and what. But
if you're going to punt on 1 week, I think it'd have to be Gundo.
It has to be Gundo. Has to be after the benching. It absolutely has to be.
He's shooting way more than anyone like Foden or any of the other guys other than Haaland, and he's like getting in the box. Like it just has to be. If there's any one of those guys that's going to like brace this week, I think it's Gundo.
Yeah. No, I agree completely with that. But I am interested and do think like Foden from a medium to long-term pick, because he's still like, we're waiting. It feels like we've been waiting for a while now. He's had 2 years where he's, 9 goals. Like he should be, I think kind of what Raz was putting up, like not similar player, but similar numbers wise. Like,
I don't think he will ever come close to Raz in goal scoring. Like, I don't think he's a 20-goal player.
Well, maybe not 20, but I think he could hit like the 14 to 17 range.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
if he plays 2,700 minutes in the league, I don't see why he wouldn't be able to do that.
The thing with him, and it's just like a weird case study with City so far, is that like no one's really shooting except Haaland and then Gundo next. It's like Foden.
Kev's shooting.
Yeah, a bit, but like Foden's shooting basically a shot less per game. So far, or shotless per 90, I should say, but like the assists look a lot more likely because he's just bending them into Haaland, over and over again, and that just fucking works. But it's interesting.
But I think the other thing, because we did touch on this before, or maybe I floated it out as like an idea, but why is Haaland not like permanent captain status?
That's
like
exactly what I was gonna get to next. Yeah, that was so.
I think it's enough, right?
Son question was, is Haaland permacap? Tell me why not. And then Hardly Boys saying, Hardly Boys and Jabroni basically asking the same question about just like rotation and like, should we be scared of rotation or do we just blindly cap him anyways? And that is the only X factor that we don't know and like can't really like plan for.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. At the same time, he's fit. He looks very fit, and it's not like he's Kane dropping in and working like his fucking upside down ass off. And we'll see when Champions League starts. But how do you go? What are those two tracks, right? Oh, I'm worried about it, so I never captain him. Or like, I'm not worried about it, so I keep captaining him. And that doesn't make sense. Like you're going to miss more than you're going to gain, I think, by like, because you can look at it today, right? Okay, you just started every game. He just played 90. They're playing NFO at home. Like, they don't need him. It's such an easy game. Like, he could play anybody and they'll win. So you don't cap. Or he starts and scores 5 or whatever, and he subs off at 65 minutes. You know,
I mean, which is completely on the table. And then I was listening a little to friends of the pod, Baker and Adam, and they were saying like, or he plays 0 minutes anyway, and you just get your vice because they're just in cruise control, and that's also like a win basically because you got away with it, and Pep is kind of hesitant with his subs, you know. So, like, that's also a thing, you know? They're just in cruise control against Nottingham Forest or Villa. Yeah. And so, like, even, play.
I don't think that holds that much water to me because even if they are up, you know, 4-2 or whatever, look at their bench right now. I mean, he's going to bring on Sergio Gomez, like fucking Palmer. I mean, they have nobody on the bench. Yeah. So, I mean, he has fucking 5 of them to use. He'd put him on for 10 minutes, like whatever. Like, oh, maybe you'll get a goal, like pad your stats. You know, I mean, it's possible. But I think if they had like the full team, you know, with Phillips and Jack, and maybe they had one more and they had all the defenders with Laporte, it's like, okay, yeah, they're cruise control. Like, he has other subs to make. But
there were just a lot of time, you know, obviously in Palace, I think he made 4 out of the 5 subs, but there were a lot of times last year when he was intentionally resting someone and didn't make subs. And just looking back, I mean, he made 1 sub against Newcastle in a fucking psycho game, and it was only because Ake got hurt.
Yeah,
you know,
that's possible that you could be coming up against those games where it's like a tactical 0 minute.
Yeah. So
whatever.
That, you know, and if you look at the upcoming schedule, I mean, they have 3 days off before home NFO, but then they have 2 days off at Villa, 2 days off at Sevilla. Like, Villa seems like the more risky one for minutes to me than NFO. Like, that's the obvious rest one. They're the fucking worst team in the league. Gerrard might not last August. And it's just like, yeah, I mean, I don't see, unless Pep says something, which he's not going to, it's very hard to not cap him.
Yeah, I just think in general, you know, we watch this team and he just gets so many chances. It's insane crazy how many chances he's been getting so far. And, you know, we look at Mo and it's, you know, he had chances against Bournemouth, obviously.
I mean, he had like 1.5 XG.
Yeah. And, you know, he's still doing things. And if it's a very stark difference of fixture, you know, which we don't really have in the near term. So, I'm, you know, really looking at it from now for like the handful of month or whatever, game week, making like a comment about permacap kind of thing. But, you know, it's just, he just looks a way better asset than Mo, you know, from like an FPL standpoint, like not really close. And,
I mean, it's like the statsy people don't always get everything right, obviously, but it's like exactly what that like double pivot preview was of like, what is Haaland in this team? And it's like, they just funnel everything to him and he gets 5 shots a game.
Yeah.
And he's just a god. And that's like just exactly what's happening. Like he's over a non-penalty XG per 90.
It's not even that like, oh yeah, they funnel everything and it's like City. So like he's unbelievable.
So good. He's so good.
You can't just put any 9 of his body size in this and like he's going to be amazing because everything funnels. Like he is individually an insane like generational striker. You know,
I mean, it's you know, it's people crazy. Always say that kind of shit like, oh, if I fucking played for City, I'd get 10 goals. This is like proof that you wouldn't because you have to be this good to get this many goals.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, he's just like I said, that fucking 3rd goal where he's just literally piggybacking Ward.
I mean, he scored all types of goals. It's everything he does. He has absolutely everything. It's just nuts. Crazy. Like watching him is insane.
It's really crazy. Aside from the fact that it's sad for me because they're probably just going to walk the league and he's going to be on City for 10 years. It's fucking sick to watch him every week. I mean, it's the same reason I wish like Nessie was here and Mbappe was here. I just want to fucking see these guys every week instead of like twice before they get knocked out in the Champions League.
Yeah, in PSG's case, right?
Yeah. Let's go to Liverpool. So, you're on Robbo. I mean, Alon said, if you're one of the people like me who didn't want to take Robbo out before home Bournemouth, have you seen enough to leave him in? If not, where do you go? Daniel said, my plan was to get rid of Robbo. Now I'm not so sure since Liverpool smashed Bournemouth. He got an assist. Are they waking up or should we get rid? Ralph said, as a Robbo holder, it was pretty tilting to see Tsimikas bagging 2 assists. Long term, though, is it a good thing for an FPL defender to come off after 70 and bank a few extra cleans? Where are you at? You're on him. It's frustrating. What are you thinking with Robbo?
Well, I mean, I wasn't frustrated about him scoring 9 points. That was more of like the Diaz second goal, and just because that's the comp is like I'm comparing him to Diaz. But no, I mean, I was very explicit and clear when I decided to hold him, for this game, that I'm going to hold him for 4. I'm going to hold him through home Wolves and reassess at that point. I mean, they have home Newcastle, at Everton, home Wolves. I mean, Newcastle today were fucking diabolical. Dude. So, I mean, I would be absolutely stunned if they were able to score a goal in Anfield with
I wouldn't be stunned.
Unless if they get players back. Like, if they run that same 11 out, I mean, as long as Liverpool are switched on.
If Isak's fit, he's like the exact, like, we're going to long ball counter to Isak in space. But if St. Max is hurt and Bruno's still out, like, they're so much worse. Yeah, they're so much worse. You can
long ball. I mean, then what's he going to do? He's going to be 3 guys. I don't know. But anyway, Everton is always a tight game. They're going to play 11 guys and they're on half the whole game. I'm as long as they don't concede against Gordon on some fluky thing on the counter or whatever. And same with Wolves, just they don't know what they're doing. So, I think you hold them for that run, and then, it gets to game week 8. They have Chelsea, Brighton, Arscast, and then City. I would be surprised if that game week 8 is like, I'm going to make big changes, if not Wildcard, probably.
Yeah, I mean, that's also like after game week 8 is the international break. So I think everyone's going to be popping Wildcards around there anyway.
There should be probably a lot, but... No, I mean, Robbo, it was on a corner kick, but, he takes those, so that's great.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I'm always happy to see him subbed early, just banking the clean. Like, I think that the clean, banking the clean and not conceding at the end is better than, hoping for a return in the last 15 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
And, I don't know if that's, like, correct, actually.
I think that's
statistically correct, but that's just kind of how I see it. So I think Robbo is still just a fine hold, for the next 2 game weeks.
Jitterbug said, what's our read on Luis Diaz going forward? And Hemdog said, feels like a basic question, but what's the best in Liverpool 3 right now? And would you switch it up with a sideways move if you didn't own the optimal trio?
Well, what do you think of Darwin? Because he's going to be back soon.
Yeah, I think he will be the optimal 3rd guy with Trent and Mo.
Because talking about Haaland stuff, right? I mean, a lot of Anfield Rap stuff is like they're talking about how they're kind of reshaping and reconfiguring everybody around Darwin. The idea of playing with Darwin, of an actual 9, in the middle, someone to look for rather than drop in or go into pockets or, go into half spaces.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 8-9 now. He's obviously banned for one more game, but I mean, that is something. I mean, and Bob just scored 30 points in one game week, obviously, as well.
What a fucking legend.
I know. But I mean, knowing that you guys do have that tough little mini run coming up in game week 8, like, do you think that it should be, let's plan to get him in? Do you think he's still going to be eased in? Do you think he could be fixture proof in those tough games like Chelsea, Brighton, Arsenal, City? Or do you think it's like maybe just get Trent and Mo, fuck the 3rd spot, and reassess in game week 12?
I mean, I think there's a real chance that he's fixture proof just based on, whatever it is, 150 minutes or something in the Community Shield that he's played so far. The thing is, I mean, Anfield Rap guys and whatnot, they're like, it'll be hard to start him in a derby. And in my head, I'm like, fucking why? He should absolutely start that game, But there's all these English football-y things that I'm not privy to. I'm like, well, we should obviously start our best forward. Why the fuck would we not start him?
How is he going to possibly do well against Connor Cody?
Yeah, we can't just run him out there in a fucking dart.
Yeah, he's going to fucking headbutt
Is he going to
headbutt
someone again? Like, just let him play. So that gives me a little bit of pause of like, for some reason, they think he's going to be eased in. I mean, he's obviously better than Bob, despite the 22-pointer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think that there's a real chance that the Diaz, Darwin, Mo front line is just ridiculous and fixture proof. I mean,
Jota? How is Jota going to influence that? Do you think?
I think Jota's going to rotate in for Diaz, rotate in for Darwin, sub on a lot. We'll see, with the pile up and the midweek Champions League and all that stuff. Maybe there is some rotation there, but Darwin just like seems like the kind of guy that's just like can run for infinity. He reminds me of
Yeah.
like young Cavani, sort of. Like he's just like sprinting all over the place and just so physical and never tired. But it is still risky, and I still don't really want to be the first one on him. You know, I'm not like before he plays Everton, I'm not like making my Kev double change to Darwin unless Klopp's like he's for sure in, which again is never going to happen.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's kind of wait and see. You know, if he braces against Everton and starts, you know, like that's pretty much all I need to know, because that's just another data point of him just being insane. And, you know, if he's doing that, then he's definitely fixture proof. So,
okay. Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, we got all these Mo questions. I mean, some are funny. Chaos, he said, what do you do if you capped Havertz's blank in the 7-0 win last year and Mo's blank in the 9-0 win? You know, so obviously we're there with him. X50 said, is it crazy to think Salah's still world-class player but not 13 million asset? I mean, just like, you know, what's the read, Ben Murphy, Bjorn? Like, is it a freak thing? Like, yeah, I think I know your answer, but what do you think about Mo?
It's nailed in best pick in the game still.
Yeah.
I mean, Haaland is coming close to rivaling that. I mean, it's been 4
Haaland
games.
Is right there.
Yeah, it's been 4 games, but no, I mean, he had huge chances. You know, he misses huge chances all the time. We've seen that from him. But this is a team that's been in large disrepair so far, and they've been still in like first, second gear. You know, they're going to get players back. They're going to look better. You know, he doesn't have the World Cup. He has another long break. Yep. I still expect him at the end of the season to be right around, you know, 20 and 10 or whatever he does like every year and be over 200 points. So, you know, I mean, there's obviously been a lot of talk, and it's, you know, for a good reason. You know, he's playing a little bit wider than he's traditionally has, but, you know, he still comes in, like he still gets in the box when the opportunities are there. And, you know, the triangles are different a little bit when, you know, if it's Hendo or whomever with Harvey, you know, with Harvey they're still getting used to playing together. You know, he's a 19-year-old kid. So, you know, that's a change. But
and just look at his shots against Bournemouth, right? It's like,
yeah, they're in the box, you know,
one's fucking in the net, impossible to miss, and the other one's, you know, on the penalty spot. It's like,
and you know, he also is on pens again this year, so you know that's another, you know, 5-ish free goals, which, you know, they haven't had one yet. So yeah, he's definitely worth 13 million. He's definitely captainable in good fixtures, and he's definitely a great pick. So
yeah,
I mean, it's just nothing, you know, nothing new.
In a weird way, it's like good that people are questioning it, because I hope everyone fucking transfers them out. Like, it's great for us. We got some questions about just, you know, these sort of mid-price guys. I feel like a lot of people are still like dilly-dallying with who to get. Bri said there's so many forwards right now. What do we do with that? Do we need to prioritize transfers and forwards and keep D and mid transfers to a minimum? FPL Mad, would you go for the 6 to 7 million forward or the mid? Where do you see the spot long term? Jitterbug, should we stop being scared of the fixtures? Just get Mitro anyway. At 6'7", he's cheap, nailed for 90, always looks like a threat. I wouldn't be scared at all of, for example, home Chelsea in Game Week 7. And then a couple of Grob questions. Serge, is Grob a reasonable pick now? His returns seem lucky, but is also playing much higher than he has before. And Ethical said, is Grob for real? Gross, for those who don't know what we're talking about. I've only seen the points, but not the IRL experience. So Mitro, Grob, I mean, amazing picks, right?
Mitro's like, what is happening?
Yeah, I mean, this is Mitro unleashed. Like, this is...
Yeah, it really is.
We haven't
seen this in the Prem before.
Yeah, we haven't. He has never been given this much of a chance. I mean, yeah, when he was 20, he played 2,000 minutes for Newcastle, but that was a fucking long time ago. Last time they were up, he started 13 games, and they were a fucking train wreck, and then they had Scotty Parker. You know, it's like... This is truly Mitro like getting to be himself. He's shooting 4.26 times per 90.
And a lot of them are off his head, but they're still like, that's good. Those are good chances for him. Those aren't
off
average.
His head, but also from fucking fuckland, because Marco Silva is just down. Like Marco Silva is just in for the Mitro experience. He's bought a ticket. It's all I need to see, really. I mean, he's just a fucking great pick. He's going to print points. He's an insanely good value pick.
Did you consider him? Because we didn't really talk about him.
Well, I basically considered two types of drafts, I think is the way I should word this, because one is Threemium, and then I didn't consider him because I didn't consider him over Martinelli or Rodrigo, and no one else was movable in my attack. But then the other type of draft that I was looking at was like keep Cancelo, only Mo and Haaland as my premiums. And in those drafts, I was definitely considering Tony, JWP, Gundo, sort of those guys, like Wilf. There were Wilf injury concerns, so I was like, I don't know, yeah. I guess not. But it was like mostly those guys. He was definitely on the list. I mean, I do think he's basically fixture proof. I mean, it just doesn't really matter.
The way they play is so. The whole plan is like to get him goals, I
mean, he's really Haaland.
Yeah, like it really is. And when they pull out wide, he's so good at finding the fullback. Yep. It's just every game is like he just like fucks off the center spin, like comes over, finds the fullback, baits him, comes in, they find him. Like no matter which side, right? He's
he
so
does
good
the fucking
and he jumps on the fucking.
He jumps on their head. He puts his ball sack
on their back of their fucking head, and he dongs from fun. The rest don't call it. He just does it.
Yeah, obviously the Arsenal goal is like fluky. Gabriel just gifted him a goal, whatever. But like, the game before he got 8 shots against Brentford. It's like,
and dude, game week 2, he missed the fucking pen. He should have a return. He should have a goal every single game.
Yeah, he should be on 5 goals.
5 goals
in 4 games.
And they played Liverpool and Arsenal, and then at Wolves, like home. Like they haven't had easy fixtures.
They have not had easy fixtures.
He's just fucking doing everything.
Yeah, I had huge Marco Silva questions going into the season. I thought chances to be sacked. They're going to concede 3+ a game, whatever. But it's working.
They look good. No, they look good.
They look good. Pereira's still really good.
His goal this week. Lucky.
Complete fluke. Fluke.
But he's, he's working, and he did. It's not like he had no other chances the rest of the game. Like he's chirping, he's getting in there, he's doing all the Mitro fucking crazy ass shit.
Yep.
And it's still difficult to buy ahead of like, Brighton, Spurs, Chelsea. That's just. I just think looks hard.
It just doesn't matter. Because you're holding him until the World Cup, barring injury,
forever.
Yeah,
this was another player we talked about.
That's all you need to think about because World Cup, we got a free wild card. But it's like, there's
right.
There's no transferring. There's no worrying about his points. He's gonna just keep shooting tons of goals, tons of times, tons of XG. It's everything is for him.
Yeah, what you're saying is yes. If you're gonna transfer him in, you're gonna hold him. But if you could find those. If you can find those points in the next 3 and think, maybe getting him for 8 or whatever when the run the good run actually starts. But the other thing with Fulham too is, they've looked so much better at home than away, just in general, just something to be a little bit concerned about, I think, because their away performances are, very worrying, like the Wolves game and the Arsenal game. They get some set pieces and shit, but their open play stuff is a lot. It just doesn't look so good.
Yeah.
And, that could be a concern because he has to finish his, 1 or 2 chances to return away, it looks like. Yeah. But at home, it's just they're filling their boots.
But yeah, and I totally agree that like I look at home Brighton, away Spurs, home Chelsea, I'm like, good. Followed by NFO Newcastle. I'm like, yeah, those are good for him. Like, Brighton's probably the hardest of all of those because they're just gonna keep the ball, I think, and just not, just limit the amount of times Fulham can even like enter the final third. But like Spurs allow shots for fun. They that's part of Conte's game plan is like, just let them rip. So he's gonna have fucking 8 shots in that game. And Chelsea don't really look very secure either. So, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But Grob.
I'm still kind of like, meh.
Man, he plays a lot. He looks so good, though. Like
he does, but they still just kind of like do the Brighton thing where they just like, they are in cruise control throughout games, but they're not, creating volumes. I watch like the Leeds game. It's like they destroyed them, but it could have easily been a 0-0. Like probably on balance should have been a 0-0.
No, they had the numbers to like sort of.
But the
thing is also is like he creates all of their chances. So like he just needs one of them to go in, right? Like he creates the fucking March 1v1. He creates the who was it, Veltman or Webster missed the header that was like should have been scored, and then he scores the goal.
Yeah, his ball spurring counters are so good. It's like he puts them into space, those like little diags from like
a half volley over the defenders onto March's foot.
He does,
and then, obviously March fucks it, but sometimes he'll make it. So
I don't know. I mean, he's got 35 fucking points, which is so many points, through 4 game weeks.
So many points.
But I still have a feeling like he's just going to kind of like tail off, or, other players are going to come in for him. Yeah, no, I mean, it could be the year of the Grob. I mean, he might play 3,000 minutes.
He's also played 4 90s in a Potter team. Like, that's fucking unheard of.
Yeah, and he was playing 90s at the end of last year. I mean, if he gets all those minutes, he could be like, a 9-9 with good bonus point kind of year.
Yeah, he sort of JWP-ish for, $1 million less.
It does suck that he doesn't have pens though.
I know
anymore.
Yeah, I actually forgot about that, but it fucking sucks.
That would be a big deal. Then it would be like, forget about it. Because he would have another 8 points or whatever because he would have had that pen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still figuring out Brighton, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I still watch them. Like Trossard's playing different spots, like and Lallana was hurt, so like they did different. Yeah, Perv is back. Like Lallana was hurt for this is the first game without Lallana with Leeds, and like I'm still trying to get my finger on them.
Any other teams you want to talk about, or should I just jump to some like scattered questions from Discord?
Well, I guess I mean Rodrigo, right? I mean, because he's also in this region,
right.
And Martinelli and shit, right? Do you like? I mean,
Martinelli is, I think, untouchable.
Yeah, for now. I mean, the day will come where we may touch him and talk about him, but it's not right now. But with Rodrigo, I mean, they didn't play well. We expected that. He didn't do anything. I mean, are we still sort of just like, let's watch for a few more games and then decide? Or
I mean, I guess
I don't know. Like, what are we looking for? Like, what are we looking for?
What
he's
I'm looking for is in a game that we thought that they would get dominated. They kind of got dominated, and he still got 5 shots and still put up half an XG. That's what I'm looking for. Are you telling
me that because he did that against Brighton?
Because he did that against Brighton.
So I mean, I watched the game. I didn't see him do anything.
Yeah,
so I know. Missed
and
that.
And that is what I'm looking for. Is like while Bamford's out, he's playing the striker role. He's shooting at fucking will. He's putting up Mitro kind of shot numbers. And that just continues.
Glad to hear that. I don't know. I mean, I usually when I buy someone, I'm watching them closely, and I just like I was watching the game. I mean, I had 2 games.
I was watching 2. Yeah, that's what it always.
But I was still just like he's doing not like he's not doing anything. Yeah, the team's not doing anything. He's not doing anything. But I guess clearly he was. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting. On FBref, his XG is like half a goal, and on Understat, his XG is a quarter of a goal. But still, 5 shots. So
5 shots is 5 shots.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and he's still playing out of position for the time being.
He's still out of position. Yeah.
Yeah. All right,
let's jump to some Discord. Jabron said, should we hit in 3 Wolves players since they're playing Bournemouth next?
They're going to lose. I'm telling you, they're going to lose that game.
Yeah.
I will bet on that game.
I'm going to bet for you. That
Bournemouth are going to win this game.
This is a classic buy low spot on Bournemouth.
Yes. They're going to absolutely win this
everyone
game.
in the world is shitting on Bournemouth. Let me remind people, they've played 3 unwinnable games and 1 winnable game, and they won their 1 winnable game 2-0. They're coming off a 9-0. Wolves are going to be probably heavy favorites, and we're going to go Bournemouth. It's going to be huge.
They're definitely going to win this game.
Is it Dom time?
Well, we don't even know if he can start, though, can he? Did he come off the bench?
He played a half.
He played a half. He got in a half.
So he'll probably start, because now it's they need to win games.
I mean, the space is getting very crowded. The space is getting very crowded. But Wolves, NFO, Brighton, Newcastle, Brentford, Leicester, Fulham, Southampton, Western.
Your schedule looks good when your first 3 fixtures of the season include at City, home Arsenal, at Liverpool.
Arsenal, yeah.
Who just look, fucking great. And they don't play Spurs until game week 14, and they don't play Chelsea until after the World Cup. So they have one bad fixture. The problem with Bournemouth is that every fixture might be a bad fixture. That's the counterpoint.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just trying to think of him like compared to like Brennan Johnson or something. Like, I mean, Mitro is a little bit more.
But compared to Mitro, it's like you can't.
But he's more expensive.
Yeah, but he's 0.7. You can find 0.7.
Yeah, it's not comparable, I guess.
Yeah, that's the problem for Dom.
Yeah, and like even like Brennan Johnson. No, but in short, it is.
In short, it is Dom.
Get him in now. He's gonna score 4 against fucking Wolves.
I'm like one of those kids who like, remember that like psychology experiment we learned about in high school where they like put a marshmallow in front of the little kid, and they're like, okay, don't eat the if you don't eat the marshmallow until I come back, you'll get a second marshmallow. But you can also press the bell, and then I'll come in and you can eat the marshmallow, but you only get one, to like test the kid's like delayed gratification. I'm pounding the bell. I'm like, oh, Wildcard on Monday, like in. I'm like, get rid of like Trent, like all these guys. I'm like in. I know all the smart things to do, but I'm like, is it Dom time? Like in marshmallow, let's go. Like ding 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 ding. Fucking idiot 4-year-old I am. This game just reduces me to fucking dust. I'm such a fucking moron. Holy shit. Every good thing I've done, I just fucking tear it to pieces.
Yeah, you did just do that a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Desert said, what are your thoughts on Isaac coming into Newcastle? With Wilson out, feels like risky, but fun punt for Wildcard. Let me tell you something about fun punts.
Listen. This is an absolute world-class player.
I fucking love him so much.
Unbelievable. He's so good.
He's so good.
He is not a 7 million forward.
No.
I mean, this is very much reminding me of Kulusevski when he came over last year.
And I was going nuts on him.
He's not 6. I mean, they didn't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, Isak is absolutely incredible. The biggest issue to me, looking at him from an FPL perspective, is just, I still don't see this team creating very many chances. It's just kind of like ASM unleashed in the final third, dribbling, doing little things, like sometimes something comes off, but they don't have like sustained waves like in the third. I watch them, it's like they're very spread out, they're very kind of cautious, they take care of the ball well, they're in good shape, like, but it's not just like chance, like fuck.
Sustained pressure of like there's a goal is coming. They're almost all their goals are like almost a surprise instead of like a goal is coming feeling. Yeah. And I mean, I think Almiron's a huge problem. He's playing too many minutes. They didn't upgrade there. With Bruno, whatever, but I don't know how he's going to coexist with Callum, if he's going to maybe play a little bit more wide or something like that. I don't know. That could work. I'm not sure, but I'm just worried about where the creation comes from the team. So, the current iteration of the team, I'm not interested at all in Isak from a FPL perspective, but I'm very excited to like watch him. I mean, again, we're not going to be the first ones on him. There's no point in that, but there's a very real chance that he looks as good as we think he is. And they have enough people getting him the ball between, ASM, Trips, like Bruno comes back, whatever. And he's just a god, and then we'll bring him in, but
yeah, they need John Joe back.
He's so good. L. Whaley said, could Odegaard be impressing as the 3rd best Arsenal attacker and be worth picking? Do you think we just messed that one up, or do we think it's just like, he's getting deflected random goals?
It's tough because I still like having the defender over him.
Me too.
For 2 million in your case, $1.5 million
unless it's
Zinchenko. For me. Yeah, well, he's right, exactly. But I mean, it's still like watching him play. Obviously, he's very good. Watching him IRL, awesome. Like his progression, his spacing, what he does, where he drops in the space.
Such a good passer.
But from an FPL perspective, like I feel like his points, like he kind of just like falls into them by happenstance, not like holy shit, like everything is going around him, or he's like creating so many amazing chances, or he's getting really high XG shots. Like he's just like the second guy and like, oh yeah, the deflection off the cross falls to him and then he just taps it in or whatever. And like, there's benefit to being that, and to doing that well, which he clearly does. He definitely takes up like good spaces to get rebounds and shit. Like I feel like that's a big part of his game.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's not expensive, but again, comparing him to 2 million less Saliba, I have the goalkeeper, their cleans. Is he going to outpace clean sheets? I don't think so.
Is he going to outpace clean sheets? Is he better than Martinelli, Rodrigo, Grob, Mitro? No fucking chance in my book. It's just, I agree with your assessment. I mean, good player, getting kind of lucky, fluky goals. He's also not creating anything so far this season, which is like almost more concerning to me because that's like what he's supposed to do.
No, he's hockeying.
And,
for sure.
I don't know. Historic numbers don't matter that much, but he's never been like a double-digit goal scorer. He's never gotten that many things.
I mean, the thing about watching Arsenal that's been really like unique, and we've talked about this a little bit on Discord, is like how all of their front four are just so fluid, interchanging, creative, like, and it's like it almost feels like we had Zinchenko out last week, so Saka was getting a lot more. They were doing a lot more stuff down the right. It almost feels like it's like horses for courses of like what the game plan is each week of like where they're going to focus on sort of thing, but
it's almost like he learned under Pep.
Yeah. But all the while it's like Jesus is still everywhere. Like he should score at least a goal every game that we watch.
Pretty much.
Martinelli misses chances for fucking fun.
Yeah.
And it's still like, it's just how does Odegaard fit in the FPL team as that third player? I still think it's like, I would rather have Saka. I would rather actually pay over $1 million more for Saka, who has half the FPL points so far, trying to buy future points. Like, I think that's worth it to me. Yeah, and I would rather have the defenders,
It's very City to me in the pre-Haaland era of just
he's like Bill. Actually,
Gundo
like Bill
and Raz and Mahrez
Odegaard
and
is
Bill. And there's all these guys get 10-ish goals and some points sometimes and not points other times, and it's pretty much impossible to predict. And the only guys who are really good are Kevin Aguero, and it's like that's just how it is. And I think that's a big compliment to Arteta, by the way, that they are playing this fluid and this well.
They look amazing.
They look fucking amazing. So
they look absolutely amazing. I mean, if Gabriel didn't do the thing, I mean, I was like watching that game where it's like, okay, 0-0 at half. Fulham clearly are playing better than they expected, but it's just like they had a calmness about them, even without Partey, with the shitty left back playing, who shouldn't be fucking anywhere near the 11. And it was just like, if they just keep their heads, they're going to find something,
every Fulham, like every action that Fulham made was basically a last-ditch, like goal-saving block or tackle, and it was just like if City keep doing this, there's no way Fulham can hang on. There's absolutely
Arsenal.
No fucking
Look
way.
At you just said City.
There it is.
Hey,
there it is.
All right,
the city of North London. Gub and Dying Alone are asking what the fuck to do with Zinchenko. I mean, do you move off him? Dying Alone is 2 frees. What a nightmare, right? I don't think we know. It was just like a training, blah, 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 blah. But
I mean, a knee injury, if he did make the bench, you would think he's not going to be able to start in 2 days or whatever,
and then another 2 days after that, right? So it seems like a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, I think the biggest question is like, well, if he's going to be okay for game week 6, you just run Pereira out or whatever, because he's not a player you don't want. He's a very good pick. Term. Yeah, I mean, and maybe if not long term, I mean, at least for the next like 5 or 6 game weeks or whatever.
And they do have, the short term, they have good fixtures: home Villa, at Man United, home Everton, at Brenham, and then Spurs.
I know that, and that's
Liverpool.
With Martinelli. I mean, we're gonna have to talk about Arsenal in the near future because it's not just like a sea of green forever like it has been so far. But I mean, it's probably a transfer out. Like probably.
I think I would.
I mean, he's injured.
Great picks in the game. He's
picks.
injured.
They're leaving point. He might
we don't
not
know
play
any
United.
information. He might not
and
play.
And it's still at United. It's not like great. It's not like it's at NFO or something. I mean, it's still going to Old Trafford.
Yeah, and
obviously they're better, but
And we're not going to get any information. He could just miss the next month and we just have no idea. So
yeah, well, yeah, yes, but I think there're just enough good picks to warrant
picks.
Probably make that, and even just going down to Saliba or Gabriel or whatever, just to stay if you want the Arsenal piece, right?
Yeah. Sounds complex. Is holding Mendy a problem? I mean, we haven't really talked about Chelsea's defense, but thank God we didn't start with Mendy. Holy shit!
I mean, Mendy looks worse than Ward to me.
He kind of has for a while. I feel like he's just kind of shaky, and he's the shortest 6'6" guy I've ever seen in my life.
Crazy. I mean, he reminds me watching Meslier, the lack of command of his area. It's he's always scrambling and he never claims the ball. It's what are you doing? Your fucking wingspan is 7 feet tall. The other guys on the field cannot use their arms. They can only use it. It's just go fucking catch it. It's so easy. It's so easy. And he never does it. He's like De Gea, on his line and shit. He's just reads the ball so badly. It's really nuts.
Yeah, FBref has a stat of defensive actions outside the penalty area for keepers, and he's made one. 4 games.
I mean, granted, he's not sweeping because they have all the fucking center backs in the world or whatever, and they're not
sometimes you got to sweep. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, Mendy's clearly he's clearly a bad goalkeeping option and pick there.
Yeah. He doesn't get saves, and they're not keeping clean. So
yeah, well, he does have a save point every game this year, actually.
Oh, that's really weird. Okay, never mind.
They're just shipping for fun because they're a mess, and maybe with Fofana in, and they'll get some continuity. But
and Kovacic back.
I mean, Conte's out now, but it's just in general until the window shuts and they get a good 4 or 5 games together. I mean, that matters a lot for clean sheets when just one mistake leads to you get no points in your team, And they have an entire... Dude, their backline, they're all new players. They have Kukureya. They're going to have Fofana. They have Tilv and Reece James. Yeah, Koulibaly, I mean, he might just be terrible. That might have just been a terrible
Well, he was really good, I think, in the other games. Against Spurs, I thought he was really good. But Leeds, he was a nightmare. But
yeah, they just cooked his head. But I mean, just all of that shit happening, all the changes.
Yeah, it's just so much. And then Conte injury.
Yeah, the Conte injury. It's just so much change. So
Gallagher
Mendy,
red card is
But with Mendy, I mean, I don't know, 13 points through 4 game weeks. So he's averaging 3 points a game.
It's really bad. I mean,
it's not good. They have good fixtures, but
Bob Sanch, Raya, Guaita. There's cheaper, way better guys. So yeah, it's not great.
It's just still they're them keeping cleans. I'm still just I don't feel confident.
I know.
any
I think
game,
they'll come, but right now it feels so bad. Luckily, Reece played fullback, so he got an attack return.
Yeah.
Change name said, what are your thoughts on Rashford? Is he a decent budget pick on a somewhat functional team, or is it still too early to jump on United?
Well, the Anthony thing, and
100 million for Anthony.
Yeah, I would just like to wait until the window shuts. We see a few team sheets. They still have Leicester. Well, Leicester's really good, but Arsenal at Palace really bad. Leeds at City. I mean, dude, honestly, their fixtures
have bad fixtures.
They just didn't get good schedule things. They don't have a good run until game week 14. They have a few good, then a couple bad, then a couple good, then a couple bad.
Right,
it's not this is a good 6 game week section where I want to see I could give them a run until really after the World Cup. So I think Man United in general, I mean, I'm more interested in Bruno probably.
Yeah, Bruno is definitely the guy for me, for sure.
Because if Ron does go to Portugal and, they get Anthony in and that team is that kind of fluid, little short, fast fucks and Bruno's going to be on pens, then I don't give a fuck about the bad fixtures as much.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally agree. Catfing said, if your team's in a good spot, is a potentially high upside move like Diaz to Gundo worth it or too sideways? I don't mind it. Honestly, don't mind
neither.
It. Yeah.
No, I don't either. Because I mean, we are seeing teams that are sitting with 2 frees. Like, do I just burn a transfer?
Dude, I've seen tons of those elite guys on Twitter burning multiple transfers, back to back burn a transfer. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bry said, imagine this is pre-cog for a sec. 4 weeks in, obviously the smaller your rank number, the better. But what would you consider a decent to good place to be now? For example, if people are 1 or 2 or 3 million, is that panic stations or do you just stay the course? What do you think about this? I can't quantify this. I don't really know.
Well, the difference of the points from, top 500K to 2 million is like 15 or whatever.
So basically, your rank doesn't really matter at all right now.
Yeah, it's really not. I mean, it matters. Obviously, it's better to have a good rank than a bad rank, but it's just not that big of a difference. I think the thing that's more difficult to quantify is like, there are so many good picks in the game. So many teams look good. It's like, how do you actually like do well? Like I'm still like get the right captains and get the fringe players or something. Like I'm not sure.
I mean, you got to be patient for sure, and the time will come. I mean, we're already talking about like Darwin and capping Haaland. A lot of people aren't going to captain him. I'm sure a lot of people are still going to be on mode this week, especially in that like elite rank. The opportunities will come, and that's why again, my wild card was just so rash and stupid because
it was just early.
It was just early. The whole point of being template and whatever is just to like stay with the pack. Like I'm even with my horrible game week, I'm 20 points from a million places, like higher. It's like I should have just stayed with the pack, and the opportunities will come later. That's it. Bottom line.
Yeah, I mean, and
get the good guys.
Yeah, it's one of those. But no, I think in terms of, chasing or going mad differential, it's insane. It's been 4 game weeks. You could be ranked 5 million and it doesn't matter that much. You just still want to get the good players. Just fucking
if you're 5 million, like just get Haaland and Jesus.
Yeah, you're not gonna outrank other players that have Haaland and Mo and Jesus by getting, a front line of Mitro, Tony, and like Darwin. Like you're just gonna lose
for Brian.
You're gonna stay at rank 5 mil.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to avoid here.
Yeah.
And the last question was Jitterbug. He said, what picks are being underlooked right now that you think everyone's gonna want in like 2 weeks time? I mean, I don't know. Kind of a hard one to just pull out of your ass, but
well, I mean, I think like Raz is someone we talked about, right? And he did
fucking love Raz.
Yeah, I mean, he braced this week, and we talked kind of last week. It's like, what do you do if you have Raz, or you have Mount, or whatever? And we're like, kind of like, yeah, hold Raz because he's good. But that's definitely someone. I mean, I think Darwin we touched on again. I mean, we Bruno. Have such a Bruno, definitely Bruno. Like looking at the role he plays, he's not creating as much, but he's just that free floating, complete free role. He's just getting in those spaces and areas in the box to receive and to shoot. With him, if Ron's gone, he's definitely an interesting name. He's only 9.8 now. And if he has pens too, we know that's a handful of goals. So, I mean, I think those kind of things are also leading to, when, not if, are we restructuring money out of defense into, adding this extra player? Because, we know Jesus is going to be a good pick no matter what. We know Haaland, we know Mo. Well, I mean, and Haaland will get injured at some point this season, I'm sure. But, we know Mo. But, adding this kind of like Raz, Darwin, Bruno, like 9-10 million player. I mean, maybe we could throw Kane or Son. I mean, that's a stretch, and Kevin
or
to add
even
them.
2 of the mid-price guys. Like, there's a world where it's just like everyone should be on Wilf and Ishak in 3 weeks' time or something like that. And it's just, it's just again, that's like why I went freemium, right? And it's like because when you're going from a back line of like Reese, Trent, Cancelo, 6-0, 5-0, whatever, it's like. It's way harder to go up to a Bruno or something. It's like you can't just go Trent to Nico and get money for Bruno. That's only 3.5 million. Like, so yeah. I mean, I agree. I just did it prematurely.
Yeah, yeah. And there also is in defense with like Emerson going to West Ham. I mean, granted he got subbed and they looked immediately. They were terrible in the first half. He got subbed.
That game was formation. A fucking joke.
Yeah, I know. And then they were immediately better. But I mean, they're not buying this player for 15 million to not play him. And I mean, Cresswell just doesn't have the legs anymore. He probably should be playing left side center back. So I mean, we have Emerson, we have Nico, we have Patterson. I mean, we have 3 literal wing backs at 4 million. Granted, the team's clean sheet perspectives for all 3 are not great, but we've never had one 4 million defender wing back in a season ever in the history of FPL. And there are 3 right now. So, you could definitely create a defense of, Trent,
Reece,
James, all 3 of them.
And then all 3 of them.
Go wild, do a 3-4-3 or a 3-5-2 or whatever. And, have a playing bench. Like that's definitely something that could happen. And, that
Pereira.
Yeah, and that, I mean, there's still Saliba, even just like the 4-4 guys. Like you can have Saliba, or you can have Gahey, or you can have Fofana's 4-4 if he starts playing for Chelsea. Like there are a lot of really good cheap defenders. So that is something I'm imagining. Like that's going to be the meta. For the wild card.
I think you're right, especially with like what Cancelo we talked about with Cancelo.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to our teams quick. I mean, it's Sunday night, so games are on Tuesday. Quick turnaround.
Yeah.
We're potting. We should have mentioned in the beginning, we're potting again on Thursday, not a Friday My Life Patreon pod, just a normal pod because there's another game week at the weekend, so we'll get there. But what are you looking at with your team?
I mean, I think I'm an easy save, and I'm gonna just keep it on. I'm gonna put it on Haaland.
Yeah, same.
And put Mo Vice.
Yeah, what I was actually going to ask you, like, what do you think I should do with my Vice? Should I Vice Kev?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Because it's just the best fixture. I mean,
I think so. I mean, I was considering Cancelo as the Vice, but I don't know.
Not this season, I don't think.
Yeah, he's just not really doing the things enough. Yeah, I think you should just put on Kev. Yeah, and you're gonna save too, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And so, wait, who are you starting this week? You're going to start Gahey over Trips?
Over Trips. It's actually kind of debatable. Do I go Gahey or do I go Pereira home Brighton? I mean, Brighton are obviously good, but we mentioned Fulham at home have been like really attacking good. So I think that's actually kind of a close one.
I think you should go Gahey. I think that's a game that we're going to just... If Zaha's playing, you should play Gahey. If Zaha's not going to play, then I would play Pereira.
Yeah, I think that's fair. He's the outlet.
Yeah,
but the thing is, like, probably Pereira. Like, if there's any week where I'm gonna get an auto sub, like midweeks and shit like that, benches might actually matter for these next 2 game weeks. So we'll see.
Yeah. All right. Well, hopefully we do better this week than we did this weekend.
Yes, I agree. We have. The good thing is we have a lot of Patreon signups. A lot of.
I wonder how many deletions we have.
Hopefully not that many. Hopefully they think we're at least funny. Like I'm just a clown, right? So hopefully they're laughing. We got Alex Hardman, Kiel Andre Glenn, Ian Deacon, Reed Stock, David Trainer, Kim Stockeland, Brian Lara, Nicholas McKenzie, Lasse, Adam Lundahl, Liam K, Ross Miles, AJ Tubes, Neil Forsyth, Nathan Gray, Aurelio Cruz, Tony, Ginger Whiskey Ice, Thomas Selbo, Roy Bennett, Scott Brofield. Let's get in there, baby.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining us on our clown show.
Yeah, thanks for... Any last words?
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, bro. Check us out at FMLfield.com. Follow us on Twitter at FMLfield. Support page.com/FMLfield. Subscribe, rate, review, cheers!